Good evening and welcome to the regular session of council for the municipality of Bayham. It is Thursday, November the 21st, 2024, 7 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. I will ask and remind members of disclosures of community interest or the general nature thereof. Seeing none. Item 3, review of items not listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one item tonight. It's a confidential item regarding labor relations, employee negotiations, compensation for closed session.
Thank you. Moving on to announcements. Any announcements for council members? Councillor Chilcott.
Thank you. Stratfordville will be having their Light Up the Park in the Parkette on November 29th. I believe it's at 6:30 that they start their festivities.
Thank you for that.
And tomorrow is the craft show at the SCC.
Tomorrow or Saturday?
Saturday, sorry. I'm trying to get to Saturday real quick. And then the parades.
A craft show at the hall upstairs on
Yeah,
Saturday.
from 9 till 2, I believe.
Right.
And the parades.
The parades in Bayham, we have a meeting before then, so we got time to bring them back up.
Because I can't remember the exact times and dates.
Okay. There are a number of festival parades going on. They're beginning actually this Saturday, Elmer 2 p.m. with the Kinsman Parade. And then throughout till I believe the 14th, be different parades. So keep that in mind. Anyone else? Any announcements? Do you have an announcement?
Yeah, just a brief one, Mr. Mayor. It's not exactly council related, but I just wanted to identify that since he is in the audience tonight, it is John Selden's 76th birthday today.
Wow. Wonderful. Happy birthday. I didn't even know we broke.
Stand up and get in front of the camera.
It's wonderful to be here on my 76th.
Well, thank you.
Great to have you, John.
Thank you.
Yep, and thank you for what you do for us. Okay. I have a brief statement I want to make. Every year we have normal operations that carry on within the municipality, and the frontline staff, usually is public works and or up at the counter, are the ones that are most visible out there. And they work hard. They work hard to earn your trust, and they do the most efficient job that they can, and to bring you value for money. A lot of the times you'll see them out there, whether it's in a pickup driving around or whether you see them engaged in inspections on certain infrastructure items, whether it's a road, whether it's part of the force main with the wastewater system, but they are out there and these are normal operations. And twice a year, you may see trucks roll into the wastewater plant. And those are hauling septage out, called biosolids now under the ministry guidelines. And that is a normal operation. Anytime, and I should qualify this, I'm absolutely thrilled that the public has an interest and is keeping watch and is interested in seeing what's going on with their community. And I would encourage any resident who's watching any of this work that's going on, if they have questions, please reach out to those who are knowledgeable and ask. Don't assume that something's wrong because there's a truck or an unidentified truck at a site. It isn't. These are normal operations. And again, call the office, call your local representative. If you happen to see somebody, I don't want you to interrupt their work, but ask. And and the reason I'm saying this is because there was an incident that has come up this past week regarding some questions about operations down at the wastewater plant, and it seems to blow up, and misinformation gets spread around the community, and it's not fair for our workers who work hard in a very highly regulated industry on your behalf. And I'm going to invite our wastewater manager and the manager of capital to come forward and see if he has a few comments he'd like to share with us for tonight.
Your Worship and members of council, thank you for this opportunity. And Your Worship, that was well spoken, and I couldn't I couldn't say more really, other than the fact that people really need to realize, don't make assumptions of the operations that are taking place. Things like there's a problem at the wastewater treatment plant. There must be a problem at the treatment plant because we're seeing unfamiliar transport trucks. They're hauling something away. Rumors quickly spread that, operation staff is hiding something. Operation staff are making room for capacity for development in the north. Council will recall last year we had a very similar episode, much more serious. In fact, the one last year actually triggered an investigation by Ministry of the Environment. The medical officer of health was involved. A number of local authorities were involved. It turned out to all be false allegations. These allegations quickly get onto various social media platforms, into the gossip shops, the coffee shops, the local rumor mills, however we label it. This information, this false information, is very damaging for the credibility of the council. It's damaging for the credibility of myself, our staff, that we've worked very hard to earn that public confidence and that public trust. And for these allegations to come along, it really undermines all of this and can quickly get people questioning in a hurry what's happening. And all of it is false. We are a very heavily regulated operation in the water and wastewater department. And with that, we are heavily measured in terms of mandatory reporting, mandatory annual inspections. There is no room for error in our line of work, and we have contingency upon contingency. So for concerned residents or citizens to, make up such allegations, they can be very damaging. I encourage with this measurability. This measurability is public information. It's has been posted on our website for many years. Quarterly reports, Ministry of Environment inspections. We're very proud to be able to bring excellent results back to the community. And I encourage people, as you said, Your Worship, to do their homework, do their research, ask the proper questions. And if you're really that concerned, don't assume, don't start talking, don't start spreading things around. Stories quickly get changed in a hurry. People will ad lib as the story continues. Again, Your Worship, I would like to send a message out to people. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your interest in our community and what's happening. But yes, ask questions. That's certainly what we're there for. Be happy to take any questions, any comments, anything at all.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ed. I certainly appreciate your candor on that. Again, just to reinforce the messaging, there's nothing nefarious going here. It's simply normal operations. If you don't understand is taking place, for God's sakes, ask. We are a transparent community. So thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Not meant to be a downer on that one, but need to reinforce the messaging that we have a small staff. We really do. We have perhaps the leanest staff across the county. And, we don't need to put any more stressors on them by false accusations. It's just wrong. Okay. Thank you for that. And thank council for indulging me on that statement. Moving on then with section 7, we have the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. We have 4 sets of meeting minutes. The regular meeting of council held November the 6th. The statutory planning meeting held November the 6th. The quarter revision meeting held November the 6th. And the special capital budget meeting held November the 13th. Does anyone have any questions or have any concerns? Are there any errors or omissions? Not when I read them, but I might have missed something. If not, then this is gonna be a real fun night. Need a mover and seconder for the following, that the minutes from the regular meeting of council held November the sixth, 2024, minutes from the statutory planning meeting held November the sixth, 2024, minutes of the Court of Revision meeting held November the sixth, 2024, and the minutes of the special capital budget meeting held November the 13th, 2024, be approved as presented. Now, since we only have two, we're going to skip back and forth between who's going to move this, and Deputy Mayor Weisler is going to move it. I'm hoping Councillor Chilcott would second it. Perfect, thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Wonderful. Skipping down to section 12, Development Services, Sustainability and Conservation, 12.1 correspondence, 12.1.1 to receive for information. A number of notices of decision and a notice of public meeting. So notice of decision regarding minor variance application A1824 for 100038198 Ontario Inc. Wall. No extra zeros this time. Notice of decision regarding minor variance application A1924 100038198 Ontario Inc. Wall. Notice of decision regarding minor variance application A2024 Rempel Friesen. D, notice of decision regarding minor variance application A2124 Schmidt. E, notice of decision regarding minor variance application A2224 Gerd. And F, notice of public meeting regarding ZBA 2624 Weber. Any questions? Mover and seconder. I'm going to take Councillor Chilcott first and Deputy Mayor Weisler as seconding to receive for information. All in favor? That's carried. Quite the recommendation coming up here. All right, we moving on to section 12.2, reports to council. Report DS 8524 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk regarding consent application E8824 Wood at 9837 Coyle Road. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. The report before you for consideration of consent application E8824 for Wood is presented to propose the severance of a surplus farm dwelling from a farm operation. The application proposes to sever a parcel approximately 0.46 hectares and to retain approximately 34 hectares of land. The intent is to create a residential lot with the single detached dwelling surplus to the needs of the farm operation. The Elgin County Land Division Committee will consider the application on December the 11th, 2024. The planner's memorandum attached dated November the 13th, 2024, analyzes the application subject to the provincial planning statement, the Elgin County OP and the Bayham OP and zoning bylaw. The standard conditions would include that rezoning is required for both the severed and retained parcels, a digital copy of the final survey, the planning report fee payable to the municipality upon the granting of the consent, and purchase of a civic address sign for the retained lands. In addition to that, in this case, the owner would be required to remove the portion of the existing gravel driveway encroaching on the unopened road allowance. The unopened road allowance is to the south of the property owned by the municipality. They would also have to confirm the location of the existing septic bed. That is to ensure that it is fully contained within the proposed severed lot. Install an independent well on the severed lot and provide water quality and quantity testing results because presently they share a well with the primary dwelling. They would have to obtain written approval from LPRCA because it does border LPRCA regulated lands. And looking for transfer of part 2 on the survey that was attached to the report, because that is a traveled section of Coyle Road. And it was discovered when they did apply that a portion, that part 2, is part of the traveled section of the road, and it needs to be in the ownership of the municipality and not Mr. and Mrs. Wood. So staff and municipal planner, we do recommend support of the consent application for the severance of the surplus farm dwelling, and the recommended conditions are before you for consideration. And I'll leave it with you, your worship.
Well, thank you very much for that report, Mark. And I'll admit, I was quite confused on this one, and then I came seeing you this morning. and
Yeah.
Got it straightened out. So thank you very much for that. So if council, if you have any questions, or it is a little confusing, but I'm sure Mark would try to point it out on the map if he will have any questions. Go down in the application towards the bottom of the application. There's a map there. Too bad we can't post those up so we can see them. Hold with us and for a minute, maybe we can get it up on the screen. Oh. There you go. Right there. Oh,
That's all right here.
do that
Mhm.
one. It's easier to see on that one.
Let's get the right size here.
Yep.
Share my screen for the.
Can we do a rotate or not?
This is where we need to give you a laser pointer.
Watch all the cats go crazy.
It's not going to rotate for you. is it?
Okay.
This version on this.
Okay.
Okay. I think the most, probably the most confusing part of this, maybe the internal, you go into that severed lot where the driveway is. Okay, and you see there's a portion of dotted line that is on that road allowance. I think that may have caused some confusion. So we're asking that because it is municipal road allowance, that that driveway be removed off of that so that it's solely contained on the severed lot. So they'll have to adjust the width of their driveway a bit using their own property and not the municipal right of way. So that was probably one question. I'm speculating, but that was our discussion this morning, Mr. Mayor.
That was.
And then part two, Madam Clerk, if you could go to the drawing before that. One before, yes. Hard to see, but in that jumbled survey
Circle right there. is good.
circle in that middle right there, there is a part two, and part two is, as I said, part of the traveled road. So in order to tidy that up and clean up the ownership of that, it does need to be included as a condition for a transfer of that part two to the municipality. And again, that was discovered just because of this process, which is good. We can tidy that up. Because Coyle Road right there does not exactly follow the road allowance as the crow flies. It was realigned kind of outside of the established road allowance. So I think that's where it came from originally, the issue, so.
That leads to a
that.
question for you, Mark. Did it identify then the property to the south? Is the road encroaching on that property?
Not
Richmond's
that,
house.
not that we're aware of, it wasn't
Okay.
identified.
All right, thank you
No.
for that. So that, what she just identified was a portion that needs to be transferred to the municipality. All right. Okay. And again, it was fairly confusing. I come down and I clarified it this morning because it was just, didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I get it now. Okay. Everybody comfortable with it? Okay, thank you, Mark, for that.
You're welcome.
All right, we have a proposed motion then before us. It reads that report DS 8524 regarding the consent application E 8824 would be received. And that council recommend to the Elgin County Land Division Committee that consent application E 8824 proposing to create a residential lot for the existing dwelling surplus to the needs of the farm operation be granted, subject to the following conditions and considerations. Number one, that the owner obtains approval of a zoning bylaw amendment for the proposed severed lot from an agricultural A1 zone to a site-specific rural residential RRXX zone to permit a minimum lot frontage of 41.5 meters and a zoning bylaw amendment for the proposed retained lot from an agricultural A1 zone to a special agricultural A2 zone to prohibit new dwellings. Number two, that the owner removes from the severed lot the portion of the existing gravel driveway encroaching into the unopened road allowance between concession North Gore and concession 8. Number three, that the owner confirms the location of the existing septic bed on the proposed severed lot and meets a minimum setback of 3 meters from the property lines. Number four, that the owner installs an independent well on the proposed severed lot to service the existing dwelling and provides written confirmation from a licensed well installer that the private well qualifies the quality and quantity of potable water required by provincial standards. Number five, that the owner transfers Part 2 traveled road of the draft reference plan to the municipality of Bayham, and that the owner prepares a formal deed to the municipality that is acceptable to the municipality of Bayham. Number six, that the owner receives comments and or written approval from the Long Point Region Conservation Authority in support of the proposed severance. Number seven, that the owner provides a planning report fee payable to the municipality of Bayham upon the conditional granting of the consent. Number eight, that the owner provides a digital copy of a survey of the subject lands. And number nine, that the owner purchases a civic number sign for the retained lands. Anyone interested in moving that? Deputy Mayor Weiser? Councillor Chilcott? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item B, report DS 8624 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding consent application E 9224 fair at 1110 Culloden Road. That'd be 11,010 Culloden Road, excuse me. Mark, please. Good
Thank you.
evening, Councillor Emerson.
Hi, sorry, airline delay, big one.
There you go. Okay, Mark, please.
Okay, thank you, your worship. So through you to council. The report before you is for consideration of consent application E 9224 fair. And they are proposing to sever a parcel of land approximately 6.88 hectares, to merge on title with the lands to the east, municipally known as 54472 Eden Line, and to retain approximately 27.3 hectares of land. The intent of the lot addition is to permit the owner of 54472 Eden Line receiving the lands access to the drainage ditch that runs along the northern border of the proposed property line, allowing the owner to tile and drain wet portions of the existing agricultural field. Elgin County LDC Land Division Committee will consider the application on January 22nd, 2025. The planner's memorandum is attached. It's dated November the 13th, and it analyzes the application subject to the provincial planning statement, the Elgin County official plan, Municipality of Bayham official plan, and our zoning bylaw. The standard conditions include digital copy of the survey, a letter of undertaking for the lands to merge, which is normal for a lot addition process, and the planning report fee payable to the municipality when the consent is granted. Staff and municipal planner recommend the support of the consent application for the addition of a lot with the recommended conditions, and they're there for your consideration.
Thank you, Mark. Again, any questions from members of council? This is a simple lot line adjustment, essentially, but it's a larger parcel. And then I was
That's
down
correct.
again and I asked Mark about this one this morning as well, just for clarification. So any questions from anybody? Okay. This is a lot shorter recommendation. The proposed resolution reads that report DS 8624 regarding the consent application E 9224 fair be received. And that council recommend to the Elgin County Land Division Committee that consent application E 9224 be granted subject to the following conditions and considerations. Number one, that the owner provides a digital copy of a survey of the subject lands. Number two, that the owner provides a letter of undertaking from their solicitor for the lands to merge on title. And number three, that the owner provides the planning report fee payable to the municipality of Bayham upon the granting of the consent by the Elgin County Land Division Committee. Do we have anyone interested in moving and seconding that? Councillor Chilcott will move. Councillor Emerson will second. All in favor? We're carried. Thank you for that. And thanks, Martin. Section 13, Finance and Administration, 13.1 Correspondence, 13.11 to receive for information. We have item A, various municipalities of Ontario. That's cheating. There were a number of correspondence items from the various municipalities across Ontario regarding OPP or Ontario Provincial Police costs for 2025. And then somewhere down the list was the Long Point Region Conservation Authority regarding the October 2nd, 2024 meeting minutes. Does anyone have any item for discussion on any of these items for correspondence for information? Okay, seeing none. We have a motion that reads that items 13.11 A and B be received for information. Deputy Mayor Weiser, you'll move that. Thank you. Councillor Chilcott, you'll second. All in favor? I think Councillor Emerson froze. We'll assume he's carried.
Yep,
There we go.
There he is.
yeah, I'm here. Yeah, there we
13.2 reports to council. We have report CAO 5024 by Thomas Thayer, CAO regarding amendment to site plan agreement, Chesterman Leasing Inc., SPA 0224.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of two information reports for council tonight. So this is an amendment to an existing site plan agreement with Chesterman Leasing Incorporated. The municipality did enter into a site plan agreement with Chesterman's back in July. They have since engaged the municipality to extend the current agreement through August of 2025. The request was brought forward due to delays experienced by the applicant with the Ministry of Transportation respecting obtaining necessary permissions and permits to proceed with their approved expansion. So staff have reviewed the request and have implemented this through amending agreement. We authorized the agreement on November the 12th. So this is provided for information purposes as the CAO is delegated authority for site plan approval under the appropriate site plan bylaw.
Thank you for that report. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay. Motion would read that report CAO 5024 regarding amendment to site plan agreement Chesterman Leasing Inc. at 14493 Bayham Drive, Bayham, application number SPA 0224 be received for information. I have a mover and seconder, Councillor Chilcott and Deputy Mayor Weiser. All in favor? There we go, it's carried. Item B, report CAO 5124 by Thomas Thayer, CAO, regarding amendments to site plan agreement Periscope Playhouse Inc. SPA 0523. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as council may recall, the CAO, myself, entered into the site plan agreement with Periscope Playhouse on December the 1st of 2023 for an expansion, which was funded through an Ontario Trillium Foundation grant received by their organization. The agreement identified a completion date of December the 1st. So on October 28th of this year, they engaged the municipality to request an extension. The extension was requested due to delays regarding the installation of the HVAC system. So the extension would then allow for the installation and then for the final inspections from building staff to formally close off the permit for the HVAC installation. They suspected that they'd be able to do the installation November, December. However, upon discussion with Periscope Playhouse, they are amenable to an extension until the end of February 2025 to provide for some additional buffer for installation and inspection given the proximity of the holiday season. The amending agreement was executed by all parties on November the 12th, and this report is provided to council for information purposes.
All right, thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions? Motion would read that report CAO 5124 regarding amendment to site plan agreement, Periscope Playhouse, Inc., 42 Wellington Street, Port Burwell, application number SPA 0523, be received for information. Mover and seconder, please. It's a tie. Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? We are carried. Brings us to section 14, the bylaws. So we have two bylaws. Bylaw number 2024-068 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a municipal access agreement between the municipality of Bayham and Explore Fiber LP. And bylaw number 2024-069 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a municipal access agreement between the municipality of Bayham and Explore Inc. Any questions? Okay. The motion would read that bylaw numbers 2024-068 and 2024-069 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Weisler. Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? And it's carried. Unfinished business. I don't believe we have any this evening. With other business, we have the draft minutes of the Joint Cemetery Board meeting held November the 12th, 2024. I hope everyone's had opportunity to peruse them. If there are any questions, I know the clerk's here. She was present. If not, then we have a draft motion that reads that the draft minutes of the Joint Cemetery Board held November the 12th, 2024 be received for information. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Emerson will move. Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? And that's carried. Which brings us to section 16.1 for an in-camera item. This is where we say adieu. So let us move into in-camera, that the council do now rise to enter into an in-camera session at 7:33 p.m. to discuss a confidential item regarding the sale or disposition of land, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, 4th Street. Item B, a confidential item regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, Museum Advisory Committee appointment. And item C, a confidential item regarding labor relations, employee negotiations, compensation. Mover and seconder, Councillor Chilcott, Deputy Mayor Weisler will second. All in favor? And it is carried. So let's take a quick break while we